As promised, I have Sandy Dore, and Sandy is from the Moreton Bay Community Consortium. Welcome back into the studio, Sandy.
Good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning. Now look, you've got a fabulous, and you do it all the time, a topical situation for right now to talk about this morning, and that is financial stress.
Yes, some of us live with it every day, and some of us feel it at different times of the year more than others, and certainly with Christmas just around the corner, and it is just around the corner now, it's only 4 weeks away, it does become a time where the finances can really put a lot of pressure on us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, which is, it's supposed to be a joyous time, but often it can be this financial stress that we feel at this time. There's a lot of people lost jobs over the last few months. Just in the state government alone, I believe there's over 14,000 jobs being lost. But there's lots of situations that can lead us into, financial stress. Family breakdown, divorce is another one that can put, such big stresses on families financially. If there's a death in the family, or just simply getting over your head in debt. Those credit cards that we just haven't managed and they've accumulated, or other things that have been nice and shiny that we've seen have been interest-free credit, and we've kind of taken them on and not paid off before they were due, and suddenly we're hit with all this interest. So financial stress, it impacts on the whole of our life. It's when we're under financial stress, we do feel insecure, and we feel fearful, and anxiety, and even anger, and a sense of hopelessness, and how the hell am I going to get out of this?
And does it come, Sandy, that it's everybody else's fault? It's not my fault?
Well, look, that's the individual and how they might deal with it. Most certainly some people remain a bit of a victim and feel it's everybody else's fault, but really we need to stand up and take responsibility. It's our debt problem, or it's our financial problem, and we've got to make a decision to move forward on it. I think, I've often felt that the word budgeting is a bit like dieting, because it's often when it starts to impact on our health, as being overweight for a number of years does start to impact on your health. High blood pressure and other things start to occur, and we get a wake-up call at some stage, from a doctor saying you're heading towards diabetes or something, and we kind of say, okay, I've got to do something about it. It's impacting on my health. Well, I think our finances can be a little bit the same,
Similar,
where it starts to impact on your health and your relationships and the family, and it's like we've got to get this under control. We've got to do something about it.
So what are some of the tips that you could give our listeners, Sandy?
Yeah, well, I think the way out is really we have to make that decision that we've got to cope with this, that we can no longer keep our head buried in the sand, that we actually have to stand up and face it, head on, and that can be challenging, and it's not a quick fix, just as losing weight is not a quick fix. It's something that we've got to stay focused on for some time, and we've got to make some changes, and we've got to stay goal orientated, and we've got to kind of get over the if-onlys and the shouldas and couldas and looking for a magic wand somewhere to fix everything. We've actually got to do the actions ourselves, So I think the first step is really to understand the situation that you're in, really understand where you stand. This might, you've got to get clear about where is your money going? Where is our money going on a weekly basis? And it might mean you've actually got to track all those little things that are insignificant at the time, and there's just money going left, right and centre out of the pocket or out of the wallet. But kind of getting an understanding of where our money's going, getting an understanding of our regular outgoings, our bills. What's it looking like? Get ahead, get on the front foot with what to expect. So often we just know that electricity bill is coming and we're just dreading it. We don't actually, so then we're reactive trying to pay the thing.
Registration. those
Yes,
things. Yeah.
yes. So get on the front foot with all of these ongoing costs that you know are there and around the corner, and kind of map it out a little bit. What's it going to look like? How much do I need to put away each week or month, or however your finances are arranged? So the first step is you've got to know where you stand. You've got to understand and get clear about where your money is, what's coming in and what's going out. How much debt do I have? What are my regular commitments? And you might need help with this part. You know,
Yes. And it's not bad to go and ask for help, is it?
It's not. It
No.
never is. I mean,
No.
it's a really good action that you can take to get help is to get control of something.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
there's lots of people out there with expertise, so tapping into that to get in control of our situation is a really sensible and a good thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that always cost money, Sandy?
No.
No.
There's quite a good lot of helps out there. There are, yes, you have to be careful. There are, we see them advertised on the TV. There are people and organisations that, claim
Consolidate
to get you,
all your loans
and claim to get you out of trouble. Well, some of those do cost, and they cost quite a bit, so it becomes another debt to manage. But there are many organisations and services out there that are free.
Good.
So in our area, for example, Lifeline Financial Counselling, there's one based at Caboolture. Can I read their telephone number,
Absolutely,
Rosemary?
yes.
Yep. So then their phone number is 5428 4200.
Yeah.
There's another organisation called Christians Against Poverty, and yes, they are a church-based thing. It was about, supporting people who do kind of live on limited income and need a hand or need some extra organisation around their finances, having to be, on top of it and careful with things. Christians Against Poverty, you certainly don't have to be a Christian, and it's not all about converting you to any religion or anything, but their phone number for help is 1300 227 000, and they will assist you understand where you're at. They will assist you with new learnings or new education about what you might be able to do. They also do offer some help with debt consolidation. Lots of these organisations that are out there doing things are in fact voluntary. They're community members helping other community members. At the neighbourhood centre in Pine Rivers, for example, we do through our if you called into the neighbourhood centre, we'd be able to assist you with looking at your finances. We also have a thing called no interest loans, NILS for short, and NILS is up to $1,200 for essential household items, and it's at no interest. It's circular money. The NAB have offered, quite a number of dollars to offer in no interest loans to community members who are on a fixed low income, who mightn't be able to tap into any other credit, but the fridge has died, or the washing machine, or we're needing new tyres on the car. We've done a number of essential kind of things for people, including small operations, cataracts and so forth. So essential is what you find essential in your life.
Absolutely.
And they're only up to $1,200, but it can be a big help, and it can be paid off in 12 to 18 months. So
that's what I was going to say.
It's a small.
So they then help you to budget that repayment?
Yes, it's an actual loan application. So it is, it is the opportunity to sit down with someone and go through your finances. And yes, the loan repayment can be as little as $10 a fortnight, depending on the item, of course, and the loan amount.
But it is worked out, because you see on the television where you can buy this or this, whatever you want, and there's 50 months interest free.
Yes, and they're all traps, aren't they?
They are all traps, and it's very easy to get into.
It is, because we all want the nice new things. We all want to feel normal, we all want to have what the pictures on the TV look like everybody else has got. Well, I'm not sure how real all of that is at times.
No. Yeah. But that's what bothers me with the interest free, that you get this, you get this false sense of security. So I'm just thinking about these loans, these $1,200 loans.
Yes.
So long as whoever it is that giving that out, they budget that into the person's.
Absolutely, It's a community. They're volunteers that do the work at the neighbourhood centre. It's NAB who back it.
Good.
It's there. what would you call that? Their philanthropy or their community giving,
and they are very good.
we call it circular money. So it's money that goes around people. That's right. Yes.
Okay.
And it can get people out of trouble, and it's no interest, genuinely no interest. Yes, and it is only a small amount, and it's for essential household items or essential items, not necessarily household items. Yeah.
Now, I'll just tell our listeners we're speaking with Sandy Dore from the Moreton Bay Community Consortium, and as you're hearing, Sandy's got some very good tips on staying out of that financial stress situation, and it is 10:41 on 101.5 FM. Welcome back, Sandy. Let's keep going on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we're just talking about financial stress, and yes, we think it's just money, but in fact it impacts on our whole of life. It very much impacts on our health. It very much impacts on our relationships, our partners, and the family and the children, you know.
Yeah.
So it is such an important thing to get a handle on, to get control of, so that, you know, it doesn't damage our health or our relationships. You know, we do need to try our best to get this part of life right too.
Sort it out. Yeah.
Yes. You know, and if we are under stress, it's often in those times when we're, you know, feeling a bit hopeless or don't know what to do, that we do turn to unhealthy behaviours, you know, where we do turn to the bottle or the, you know, whatever it is, and often gambling. You know, it's the quick fix.
Might win.
If only we could get that jackpot, it will solve.
And turn it into 1,000.
And it will solve my problems, yes. And they once again are traps. They're not, you know, the likelihood is extremely low. But so being careful of noticing how this stress is impacting on our decision-making ability, and, you know, are we turning to things that are only going to escalate or make things worse? Yes. You know, overeating is another thing we tend to do when we're stressed, or some of us do. Yeah, so, you know, they're definitely unhealthy coping behaviours. So learning new ways and taking positive steps and making good decisions is the way forward.
So once you've analysed your spending, Sandy, then it's time to do different things, as in the second step?
It's time to get in control. Yeah. And yes, I'm afraid the old budget word crops up. But it is just a tool that we can use to assist us get in control and start managing that debt issue or that financial situation. And as I said earlier, that there is help to, you know, assist you get control. You need to then talk to those that you owe money to, your debtors, you know, whether it be the electricity company or whoever. The worst thing to do is ignore. And that's right. We do need to talk to those people and look at payment plans. And it might be another area where to get help, to have someone advocate or speak on your behalf, because it can be quite a challenging and intimidating thing to do. But most certainly, talking to people and getting payment plans under your terms, what you can afford, and not, you know, we have heard of, you know, experiences where people have almost felt bullied by particularly debt collectors, you know, so they're not operating within the realms of the law to be bullying or intimidating or any of that behaviour. And one of the wonderful tools we have is the Australian Securities and Investment Commission. So they are there to help regulate financial services, but they also have some wonderful tools for us everyday folk out there who mightn't have wonderful piles of money invested anyway. They have some wonderful tools. Their website is absolutely marvellous, and they produce a number of little booklets that, you know, really this thing called education. You know, we need to know about what we don't know about, and self-education, having a read, having a good look. So if you don't have access to a website at home, or the internet rather at home, the libraries,
Yep.
local community centres, the neighbourhood centres will all have access. I don't know if Centrelink has a bank of computers there that you can access. I really don't know, but there are
Many places.
good old Officeworks. You know, there are many places where you can access computers and do some self-education. Just simply Google financial stress, and there's a plethora of information there that, you know, I guess it's like the dieting or the personal training. You know, you need information and you need help to get on top and in control of a situation. So, yes, most certainly the first step is understand your situation. The second step is do the things to make the changes.
Yep.
You know, get that budget happening, get help with that, talk to folk that you owe money to, get those payment plans happening. Also get ahead of the game in terms of getting, might be direct debits or centre pay, so you're putting away that $10 a fortnight for the electricity or the registration or whatever those amounts add up to, so that you're not hit with unmanageable, you know, big bills that you just don't know how you're going to cope with. You know, if we can kind of get on the front foot. There are organisations out there that provide emergency relief, so, you know, to assist you in those financial crisis times. Obviously, people don't have piles of money to give away, but they can assist with food for a short term, or, you know, some of the small things that can help get you by.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
And the third step, of course, is to stay focused, isn't it? Stick to the plan.
It sure is, yes.
Not
And
necessarily easy, but do it anyhow.
that's it. And it can be, you know, we can feel discouraged because sometimes, you know, when we've got credit card debt and this debt and that debt, it can feel like a mountain that we can't get over. But chipping away. So I guess it is, when you are feeling discouraged, it's just kind of have a bit of a change of attitude about it, or, you know, think about it from another perspective and think about the progress you've made rather than how much further you've got to go. You're making progress one step at a time. You know, when you get your payment plans in place, when you've got a budget and you do know what your financial situation is, and you've got some help around that. Yeah.
And Christmas time is a wonderful time, of course, but a terrible time in a lot of aspects, because it does put a lot of people under pressure to actually buy the things that they can't afford.
It does,
you know?
it does. And you know, the amazing thing that we all witness every Christmas is how much the little ones enjoy playing with the boxes more than the thing that was in them.
The cheapest, the cheapest gift that you've bought, they just love it, and the thing that you've spent a lot of money on, it goes by the wayside.
Exactly. So, you know, it is about not getting caught up once again in the hype of all the things we should have if we're to be good parents, because it's not actually accurate. You know, we do need to think about what our children love and what they, you know, what they would enjoy, and it needn't cost lots of money. In fact, there is a website called Free Cycle, and it's about free, you know, second-hand goods and exchange. So if you can look up Free Cycle, there might be some opportunities there, and even, you know, think about the second-hand things that, you know, are absolutely fine, that people have grown out of, or it is a much cheaper way to go. Our neighbourhood centre, and I'm sure many of the other neighbourhood centres do help at Christmas time with food hampers, to make sure that, you know, families do have a Christmas day. We also will have toys available for parents to take to wrap to give to their children on Christmas Day. So Pine Rivers Neighbourhood Centre on 3205-2955. If you really are struggling and you could do with a leg up, give us a call. Okay,
you've heard that, listeners. Pine Rivers Neighbourhood Centre is 320-529-55.
That's right, Rosemary. Yes. And I'm not sure if people have heard of HEAS. It's
No, I haven't.
No, okay. So HEAS is a home energy saver scheme.
So that's HESS.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And it's about, you know, if you're having difficulty managing your bills and you are at risk of having your power connection disconnected, there is a hardship scheme that you can tap into. I'm just wondering if there's a phone number here for HEAS. They also assist you think about your power usage and how you might be able to reduce that. And, look, I know that this all sounds like, jobs and work and things, that might be a little bit discomfort, but it's not. It's quite the opposite. It's about you getting control and you being in control of your life and making these things work for you. So the HESS, Home Energy Saver Scheme, you can ring their helpline. It's an 1800 number, so it's no charge. So it's 1800 007 001, and they'll be able to, help you with that. How you might be able to manage the energy use in your home, and also
for people on a pension as well, wouldn't it?
And it's also tapping into that hardship scheme if you are at risk, if you're just not coping with the power bill.
Because a lot of older people are used to doing things that way, and we've all noticed that our electricity bills have gone up. They've
gone up an incredibly large amount. Yes.
So those little bits of information.
Yes.
So anybody listening, this HESS, it's the Home Energy Saving Scheme, and it's 1800 007 001. And 007 001, this should be pretty easy to remember, and the 1-800 number, of course, is a free call. Sandy, we're just about coming to the end of our time together this morning because we've got to head off very shortly to the news. But let's do a little wind up here for our listeners so that we can just recap on everything that you've said this morning.
So stop ignoring it, face it, and get in control of your financial situation. Talk to your debtors, understand what money's coming in, understand what money's going out. Explore thoroughly your options, in terms of, how can I save money at the supermarket? Well, maybe go at 8 o'clock at night when things are getting marked down. Have you heard of the affordable food outlets, that are often run by community organisations? We've got one in Kalanga called Sowers. And the community supermarkets have food at extremely low prices. Not the great, wonderful selection that we might have at our major supermarkets, but good, wholesome food at really affordable prices. North Lakes Pantry, the World Harvest down at Bald Hills. I know there's another one at Deception Bay. Have a look for community supermarkets. Affordable food outlets is another language around that. Think about, look, we've all got backyards, well, not all of us, but a large quantity of us have backyards. Pumpkins and tomatoes grow wild in my backyard, and the things you can do with pumpkin is amazing. You can get sick of it too. But, just some of these small things can sort of add up. Look after the cents and the dollars look after themselves. Was another little saying somewhere.
Especially around this Christmas period, because it is very easy to slip into the trap.
And tap into help. Yes. It's a smart thing to do.
Plenty of people to talk to.
It's a smart thing to do. It's not you really we all struggle sometimes with asking for help, but it is about getting that network or that support of helps around you and utilising them to make you able to manage much better and therefore have better family relationships and less stress and better health.
Sounds good to me. Sandy, I do thank you very much for coming into the studio again and speaking your wonderful words of wisdom. We'll look forward to catching up with you. I'm not sure that I'll be talking to you again in December, but we'll do that anyway. We'll see what happens, but certainly in the new year. Isn't it amazing? We're starting to talk about
another year. It's
already.
just whipped by. Look, it's been a pleasure being here.
It's always a pleasure to see you. So that was Sandy Dore from Moreton Bay Community Consortium with her wonderful words for us all. So we'll talk to you later, and we better go off and have a little bit of word from our sponsors and a little bit of music, I think. I'll just try and see if I'll get over this side again and see it, Sandy. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.